Learn and listen to English through stories with slow, easy, and clear speech. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy it. Let's begin. The Garden's Hidden Song. Can a garden keep a secret? Mr. Henry, an old gardener, lived in a small town in England. Every day, he worked with plants and flowers in his little garden behind his house. He woke up early, when the sky was still pink. He cut the grass with his old scissors. He watered the flowers with a green can. The roses were red, the daisies were white, and the sun smiled on them. Henry loved his garden. It was quiet, and it was his friend. One sunny morning, Henry decided to plant a new tree. He took his shovel and started digging the soil. The earth was soft and brown. Suddenly, his shovel hit something hard. He stopped and looked down. Under the dirt, there was an old wooden box. It was small, covered in dust, and very old. Henry picked it up with careful hands. His heart beat fast. What was this? He sat on a stone bench in the garden and opened the box. Inside, he found two things: a yellow letter and a small silver ring. The paper was old and smelled like time. He unfolded the letter and read it. The words were simple. "I'm sorry, Henry." At the bottom, it said, "Clara." Henry's eyes grew big. Clara? His little sister, Clara? He put the letter down and held the ring. Memories came back like a wave. 30 years ago, Henry and Clara lived together in this house. They were close, like the sun in the sky. But one day, they had a big fight. Henry was angry. Clara was angry. She shouted, "I'm leaving!" And she did it. She packed her bag and walked away. Henry never saw her again. He stayed in the house with his garden. Sometimes he missed her, but he never said it. Now, this letter and this ring were here. What did it mean? That night, Henry couldn't sleep. He sat in his kitchen with the box on the table. The wind blew outside, moving the trees. It sounded like a sad song, a song from the garden. Henry listened. He thought about Clara. Where was she now? Why did she say sorry? He touched the ring and felt heavy inside. The fight was long ago, but the pain was still there. The next morning, the sun came up, bright and warm. Henry drank his tea and looked at the garden. The flowers moved softly in the wind. Then, someone knocked on his door. Henry stood up, surprised. He opened the door and saw an old woman. Her hair was gray, and her eyes were kind. She looked at him and said, "Henry, I'm Clara." Henry's mouth opened, but no words came out. Clara smiled a little. "Can I come in?" she asked. They sat together in the kitchen. Clara held a cup of tea. She looked at Henry and said, "I found the house again. I never forgot you." Henry showed her the box. "I found this yesterday," he said. Clara's eyes filled with tears. "I buried it before I left," she said. "I was so angry. I wrote the letter and put my ring in there. I wanted to say sorry, but I was too scared." Henry listened. His heart felt warm, then cold, then warm again. "Why now?" he asked. Clara looked down. "I'm old now. I don't want to carry this anymore." "I missed you, Henry." The room was quiet. Then Henry stood up and opened his arms. Clara stood too. They hugged, and it felt like the past melted away. The pain was gone. Forgiveness was light, like the wind. Later, Henry took Clara to the garden. They walked past the roses and daisies. Henry showed her the hole where he found the box. "I'll plant something here," he said. Clara smiled. "A new flower?" she asked. Henry nodded. That afternoon, they worked together. They put the box back in the soil and planted a yellow flower on top. The garden looked happy again. Days passed. Henry and Clara talked more. They laughed about old times. The garden grew greener. Henry felt different, lighter, freer. One morning, he stood by the new flower and smiled. The wind sang a soft song, not sad anymore. He thought, "Can every day be new again?" And in his heart, he knew the answer was yes.